A former Texas Tech student who shocked the campus community in a deadly incident more than 5 years ago is finally seeing his day in court. Coming up, we'll have the details on the trial of Hollis Daniels III.
Being a college student is not a cheap option, especially with the current state of the U.S. economy. Luckily, one university group is giving Red Raiders the chance to learn about all the free resources available here on campus. Find out more about the spring edition of the Texas Techspo.
And it was another tough night on the road for both of Texas Tech's basketball teams, but the Red Raiders and Lady Raiders are hoping for redemption as they return home for a doubleheader this weekend. MCTV's Nathan Boles will have the details on both of those games and more in sports.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to the Thursday edition of the MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Kiley Phillips.
And I'm Jaxson Stallings. A little over 5 years ago, the Texas Tech community was shocked after receiving tech alert notifications of a possible active shooter on campus. Within an hour, the campus community learned of the shooting death of Texas Tech police officer by a student.
And earlier this week, the long-awaited trial of the convicted killer started at the Lubbock County Courthouse to determine the final fate of the former student. On Monday, Hollis Daniels III appeared in front of District Judge John McClendon and a 16-person jury facing capital murder charges. Before the trial began, Daniels voluntarily submitted a guilty plea in the 2017 murder of Officer Floyd East Jr. On October 9th of that year, Officer East was fatally shot after Daniels was arrested at his dorm and taken to the TTU Police Department. As Daniels was being processed, he pulled out a gun that was hidden in his pants and shot Officer East at point-blank range in the back of his head. East was later declared deceased, and a manhunt took place on campus to locate Daniels after he escaped from police headquarters. Less than 2 hours later, Daniels was apprehended on the front steps of the former Lubbock Auditorium. He has remained in jail since the arrest. Since Daniels submitted a guilty plea, the main purpose of the trial will be to determine his punishment, which includes the possibility of the death penalty. Today marks day 4 of the trial, with testimony continuing for the prosecution. MCTV will continue following the story and bring you updates on the trial next week.
Last October marked the 5th anniversary of Officer East's murder here on campus. Although the 2017 incident may not be known to many current students here at Texas Tech, a permanent memorial across the Marcia Sharp Freeway from Central Campus continues to honor Officer East's sacrifice. In October of 2018, a memorial boulder was unveiled outside Texas Tech Police Department headquarters, located north of the Marcia Sharp Freeway off of 4th Street. The memorial includes Officer East's name, the date of his death, and his badge number, 635. The announcement of the permanent memorial came during a ceremony on the 1-year anniversary of Officer East's death, and it was revealed to the public during the last weekend in October. The memorial can be found in the southeast corner of the TTU PD parking lot. To date, Officer Floyd East Jr. is the only TTU police officer to have been killed in the line of duty. In other news, Texas Tech students recently had a chance to learn about the many things their tuition and fees pays for during a biannual event. The spring edition of the Texas Techspo took place in the past Tuesday in the Sub Ballroom. Hundreds of students took time to stop by the event and visit the representatives from dozens of departments and groups from all over campus. Attendees could learn about resources such as financial and academic tutoring to health and wellness and student activities. The event is a popular stop for many students during the school year, and this spring Techspo was no exception.
This is honestly a great turnout for the spring. We have all just been really excited about the amount of the turnout, because the spring, sometimes it's a little bit slower, especially with it being a little windier and colder. So we're really impressed with what this with the event's attendance today. In the fall, we do typically see a really big rush, but for a spring event, we're really encouraged about the amount of students that are here.
Along with tons of information provided during Tuesday's event, students could also enter giveaways, pick up free swag, and play some games. The twice-a-year event is organized and hosted by the Office of Student Engagement. If you missed out on this semester's Texas Techspo, you can find out more about all the free resources available to students by visiting studentengagement.ttu.edu.
Throughout February, the Texas Tech campus is celebrating Black History Month. The university is hosting dozens of events along with several special exhibits highlighting the impact of Black students, staff, and alumni here at Texas Tech. Education Has No Color, celebrating Black history at Texas Tech University, is currently on display in the library's Crosland Room. The exhibit features historic photographs, student organization memorabilia, and short biographies of distinguished members of the Texas Tech community. Along with the photos and artifacts, the display also features a timeline marking the strides taken to integrate the university, along with milestones in the campus's Black community. The title of the exhibit also honors the memory of the university's first Black student, Lucille S. Graves. Education Has No Color is taken from a quote from Graves, who officially became a Red Raider in 1961 after spending more than a year working towards integration at Texas Tech. The exhibit will remain on display in the Crosland Room inside the east entrance of the library from now until Thursday, March 16th. After a mild start to the day here on campus, some major changes are headed our way within the next few hours that could include another round of wintry precipitation.
But does that mean that more delays or even cancellations could take place as we end this week? Let's take a look at the MCTV forecast. The MCTV Tower Cam has been showing mostly sunny skies today, but clouds are currently making their way into the area. Temperatures are currently hovering in the upper 40s, but an increase in the wind is moving a cold front back into the area. Over the next hour, a storm system will move further into the South Plains, bringing with it the chance of rain, sleet, and even snow. The storm is expected to stay in the area through the early evenings, and the best chance of snow is currently forecast for the northern South Plains. Here in Lubbock, we will most likely see a wintry mix with light rain and snow. Tonight, skies will remain cloudy until around midnight, and precipitation chances will end around 8 p.m. But after that, temperatures will continue to drop, with lows expected to fall into the mid-20s before sunrise. Several hours of freezing temperatures, along with leftover rain or snow, could lead to icy conditions by morning, especially on bridges and overpasses. By 8 a.m. tomorrow, the latest cold front could move out of the area and the sun will again make a return. Temperatures will climb above freezing by mid-morning, and highs are expected to reach the upper 40s tomorrow afternoon. Winds will still be a little breezy, but it should be a fairly mild afternoon and early evening. Heading into the weekend, mild weather should stay in the forecast, with a near repeat of the conditions we saw last Saturday and Sunday. Saturday's highs will peak into the upper 50s, and by Sunday's highs could once again climb into the low 70s. The sun should also stick around, with a few clouds moving throughout the area on Saturday afternoon and a slight increase throughout the day on Sunday. But best of all, the wind shouldn't be much of a factor throughout the weekend. Looking ahead, another chance for wet weather is back in the forecast on Monday, but windy conditions are also expected to be a factor throughout the middle of the week. Kickoff for Super Bowl 57 is officially set for 5:30 p.m. this Sunday. The Kansas City Chiefs will meet up with Philadelphia Eagles at State Farm Stadium in this year's NFL Championship.
Although a lot of people are excited just to watch commercials and Rihanna's halftime show, many members of the Tech community are also excited to watch a Red Raider legend take the field and continue making history. Former Texas Tech quarterback Patrick Mahomes will be leading the Kansas City Chiefs into their third Super Bowl appearance in 4 years. Mahomes already has one championship ring, but he's hoping to secure a second in a matchup that is expected to come down to the wire. Locally, Mahomes has helped create a hub of Chiefs fans in the West Texas area, as he's racked up NFL records and become known by many as the best current quarterback in the league. Many experts predict that Mahomes will walk into this weekend's Super Bowl as the 2023 NFL MVP, which will be announced later this evening during the 12th annual NFL Honors Ceremony.
Even though the Super Bowl will be the most watched event this weekend, Texas Tech fans still have plenty to look forward to, as several Red Raider teams will be competing here in the hub city.
MCTV's Nathan Boles joins us now in the studio with the latest scores and highlights and a preview of what's to come. Nathan?
Thanks, Kiley and Jackson. I know we're all focused on Patrick Mahomes and the Super Bowl on Sunday. Don't forget about alum defensive back Zach McPherson for the Eagles either, but there's still a lot of Texas Tech sports to cover. We'll start with Lady Raider basketball. Yesterday, they tried to follow last Saturday's win over Kansas State with a win over Texas in Austin. Tech was also trying to get a sweep of the Longhorns after beating them in Lubbock January 18th. Let's pick it up in the first half. UT out to a big lead, but Bree Scott goes inside, gets a layup. She finished with 26 points. Now Katie Farrell passes out to Bailey Maupin. The N1 3 cuts it to, after making the free throw, cuts to a 7-point game. Later, though, in the second half, Rory Harmon was on fire for UT. 3 triples. That gets UT a big lead. And now with Deonna Gaston Offensive rebound, the putback, 22-point lead. Tech made a late run. Here's Bryn Gerlich with a long three. She had 16 points, but it wasn't enough. Texas got the win, 80-71. The Lady Raiders are 4-7 in the Big 12 as they're still looking to sneak into the NCAA tournament. Saturday will be a tough test as they'll try to get a win over Kansas in Lubbock at the USA. Tip is at 2 p.m. Saturday. Tech lost to Kansas in early January on the road by 18. Men's basketball was also on the road Wednesday. They played Oklahoma State as they tried to find their second Big 12 win. We'll pick it up in the second half. Back and forth game, but Oklahoma State got out to a lead. There's Caleb Asbury three, 14-point lead. But here's where Tech started to get back into it. Kevin O'Banner didn't get the layup, but then Kerwin Walton with the three. And then later Devion Harmon with a mid-range jumper. Suddenly it's a 5-point game. Later, 4-point game. Harmon to Jalen Tyson for three. He had 20 points to lead the team. Now down too late. Harmon drives inside for the layup. It's a tie game. 4 seconds left. Bryce Thompson misses a three, but John Michael Wright swoops in, got the offensive rebound, and made the game-winning layup. And that was all they could do. Oklahoma State got the win, 71-68. The Red Raiders are now 1-10 in the Big 12. They're hoping to avoid the 1-17 conference record Tech had in 2011, but it doesn't get easier. Their next game will be at the USA at 6 p.m. Saturday after the women's game. The men will play 12th-ranked Kansas State. Women's basketball is promising but not amazing. Men's basketball is having a rough time. But Texas Tech track and field is near the top of the country. 3rd-ranked men's track and 15th-ranked women's track will be in Lubbock this weekend for the 2nd annual Jarvis Scott Open. Last week in Albuquerque, Caleb Dean broke a Tech record in the men's 60-meter hurdles, and Zach Bradford became the first Red Raider to break 19 feet in the men's pole vault. They're not the only Red Raider athletes to break records during this indoor season. Wes Kitley talked about how it affects a team to see some of them break records this quickly.
I think it just helps our team morale to see these really good individuals keep setting records, and it just gives everybody hope that, wow, look at how much they're improving, and I'm going to improve too.
The Jarvis Scott Open will be at the Sports Performance Center Friday and Saturday. Friday's events will start at 3 p.m. and are projected to finish a little past 10 p.m. Saturday will start at 10 a.m. and should finish around 4:30. For more information and the full meet schedule, go to texastech.com. Kenna Sauer is in the transfer portal after 2 All-Big 12 first-team seasons at Texas Tech. Yesterday, she retweeted the report from an account that tracks college volleyball transfers. Sauer led Texas Tech in kills in each of the last 2 years. She was 2nd in the Big 12 in kills last season. Sauer came to Tech after transferring from Missouri. She has 1 year of eligibility remaining as a super senior. That's all for sports. Back to you, Kiley and Jackson.
Thanks, Nathan. So, Jackson, are you planning to watch some former Red Raiders compete in the Super Bowl?
Yes, I am. I'm going to a friend's house. What about you?
I'm excited. I'm going to watch it with some friends, but I'm really excited for the halftime show. Well, that's all for today's edition of the MCTV Weekday Update.
Thanks so much for joining us, and be sure to check out ttuhub.net every day for more news. We'll see you next week.